Have you ever been scrolling maybe late at night and you pause on this like incredible music video, dazzling performance, perfect choreography, and you just think, wow, where did this even come from? Or
Oh,
maybe you've seen pictures, videos of these massive stadiums packed. London, LA, Paris, you name it, thousands of fans screaming, singing along, often in Korean. And you just gotta wonder, how did K-pop go from being, well, kind of a niche interest for some, to this absolute global force in what feels like almost overnight?
it does feel sudden to many, yeah.
Welcome to Walk and Learn. This is where we help you cut through all that noise, get straight to what really matters. We take stacks of sources, could be academic studies, could be financial reports, industry news, and we boil it all down.
Yeah, still it, yeah.
Exactly. Into the key insights, making complex stuff, easy to grasp, engaging, whether you're out for a walk, on your commute, or honestly just curious about the big shifts happening in the world.
And today, our mission is diving deep into K-pop. Specifically, that incredible journey over the last 10 years or so. Think 2015 to, well, now 2025.
Right. Consider this your shortcut, basically, your essential guide to understanding the engine behind this massive cultural, social, and economic phenomenon that's still reshaping entertainment globally.
That's precisely the goal.
Yeah.
And for this Walk and Learn, we've really gone through, a lot of material, a really comprehensive range. We've got detailed financial projections from big names like Morgan Stanley, looking at the hard economics. We've got peer-reviewed academic work, digging into fan psychology, cultural impact.
Yeah.
Really fascinating stuff. And then very recent industry analysis, looking at what's predicted for 2025, what challenges are popping up.
The whole picture.
Pretty much. Our mission here is to pull out those crucial nuggets, those core insights, often the things that aren't immediately obvious, that really explain the how and the why of K-pop going global like this.
Yeah.
We'll look at the strategies, the business decisions, the tech innovations that open doors, the unique power of the fan communities, even how government cultural diplomacy played a role.
Right.
And importantly, we'll explore not just what happened, but why it matters to you, whether you're, a casual listener, someone watching the industry, or just curious about how global culture works these days.
And when we say comprehensive, we really mean it. This isn't just skimming the surface. We've tried to get that 360-degree view, pulling from all these different angles to give you a really solid understanding. Okay, so let's dive in. This incredible transformation, K-pop taking over the world, it wasn't just luck, was it? Our sources are pretty clear there were some seriously smart, deliberate strategies involved, building a real industry.
You're absolutely right. Luck. Very little to do with it, actually. If you look at K-pop's evolution over this past decade, it's so clear we're talking about a fundamental shift.
Yeah.
And it was strategically engineered.
Engineered, yeah.
Definitely. What was mostly, a regional thing in Asia, maybe a dedicated but smaller fan base elsewhere, it transformed, became a genuine global entertainment powerhouse. And it wasn't slow. It wasn't just gradual osmosis. It was more like a strategic surge, moving from being this sort of niche cultural export to a mainstream economic engine.
Right.
That 2015 to 2025 period, that's really the breakthrough into Western markets, which was critical.
Right.
And it was driven by, well, you could call it a powerful trifecta.
Okay, trifecta, what's in it?
First, really strategic industry development.
Yeah.
Second, the absolutely unstoppable and frankly ingenious use of social media. And third, even a role for government cultural diplomacy.
Interesting. The government, too.
Yeah. And the magic wasn't just that these three things existed. It was how they worked together, how they amplified each other.
Okay.
So industry development gave you the super polished, globally competitive product, the music, the visuals, the performance. Social media gave it instant global reach, let fans organize like never before, and provided crucial feedback.
Right, that feedback loop.
Exactly. And then government diplomacy kind of helped open doors, created legitimacy. So you had this amazing cycle, top quality content, finding eager global communities online, all sort of boosted by national support.
That's fascinating. And what's really interesting, digging into some of the financial analysis, like that Morgan Stanley report from March 2024, even with all the hype, all the visibility, K-pop is still technically a pretty small slice of the pie in the huge U.S. music market, only about 3% of recorded music.
Right. That number seems surprisingly low sometimes.
It does. But the report makes a compelling point. That's not a weakness. That's actually why it has such massive growth potential still. There's just so much room left to expand, to bring more people in.
And that potential is already translating into, well, frankly, astonishing financial growth. It's happening incredibly fast. The scale is huge.
Yeah, like what kind of numbers are we talking?
Well, the same Morgan Stanley report highlights this. Revenue for just the top 4 Korean agencies, the big ones, SM, JYP, YG, HYBE, it actually tripled between 2019 and 2023.
Tripled in 4 years.
Tripled for established companies. That kind of trajectory is almost unheard of anywhere.
Wow. Okay,
Okay.
so how did they pull that off?
Well, it wasn't accidental. It was a deliberate multi-part strategy. One key element was consciously incorporating Western pop sounds.
Like EDM, hip-hop?
Exactly. Catchy EDM hooks, complex hip-hop rhythms, smooth R&B vocals, blending those in to make the music more familiar, more accessible to global ears beyond just the existing fan base in Asia.
Makes sense. Broaden the appeal.
Right. But maybe even more significant was cultivating this fan engagement model that is honestly just superior to the typical casual fandom we often see in the West.
Superior. How so? What does that mean for, someone listening?
It means K-pop fosters a much more active, dedicated, community-driven experience. Think about it. A Western artist might drop an album, maybe do a tour, post occasionally.
Yeah.
K-pop idols. They're engaging almost daily on platforms like Weverse or Bubble, sharing personal stuff, behind-the-scenes clips, live chats. It's constant interaction.
Right. Much more direct connection.
Well, exactly. And the fans, they don't just listen. They organize. Mass streaming parties to boost chart positions, translating everything, videos, interviews, posts for international fans, creating incredible fan art, running huge charity projects in the idol's name.
Wow. So they're really part of the machine.
Totally. It's not just consuming content. It's like active co-creation of the star's story, their brand, building whole ecosystems around them. That level of fan investment and participation, it's a massive difference maker, almost unparalleled.
Okay, that's huge. And it leads right into this next point. This isn't just about catchy songs or great dancers or even those super dedicated fans. It's deeper. It's about media mastery, innovation. This whole thing is a really sophisticated operation.
Indeed it is. There was an academic study, September 2024, in the Exploratio journal called K-pop's Media Mastery.
Yep.
It really unpacks this brilliantly. It basically argues that K-pop's global success is fundamentally rooted in these innovative marketing strategies. They brilliantly blend the old and the new.
Old and new, like TV and...
Yeah, traditional media, the high-production TV specials, appearances on popular variety shows, collectible physical albums, alongside absolutely maximizing new media, especially digital platforms.
Right.
And right at the heart of it is this technology-driven fan engagement. We're not just talking about a website or a Facebook page. These are complex digital ecosystems.
Weverse, Bubble, things like that.
Exactly. Designed for constant multi-way interaction, artist to fan to fan, offering exclusive content, breaking down language barriers with built-in translation, even getting direct feedback that can shape what the artists do next.
Wow, that's really integrated.
Hugely. And another crucial piece is meticulous digital content optimization.
Optimization, meaning?
Meaning every piece of content, a music video, a TikTok challenge, an Instagram post, a live stream, is tailored, not just for the specific platform, but also for global audiences, considering different cultural contexts.
So what works in Korea might need a tweak for, say, Brazil.
Precisely. The narrative, the visual cues, the type of humor. They understand these nuances and adapt their content strategy to maximize impact and connection everywhere. It's incredibly detailed work.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's not just throwing content out there. It's targeted. Can we put some concrete numbers behind this? How does this translate into company performance? Let's look at one of the big players, maybe SM Entertainment.
Absolutely. Looking at specific company data really grounds this. There's a May 2025 industry report from Deracrum, K-pop's global domination. That gives us a good snapshot.
Okay.
It shows SM Entertainment, one of the original Big Three, now part of the Big Four, reported a solid 5.2% revenue increase year over year in the first quarter of 2025.
So still growing steadily.
Steadily and significantly. That came out to about 231.4 billion Korean won, which is roughly 165.7 million US dollars for just that quarter, up from 220 billion won the year before.
Wow, for one quarter.
Yeah. And importantly, this isn't just an SM story. It reflects a broader trend in the industry, continued growth, and also consolidation.
Consolidation, like mergers and acquisitions.
Exactly. Bigger companies absorbing smaller ones, forming strategic partnerships. It shows the market is maturing, becoming more structured, but still very much expanding. Established players are still finding ways to innovate and grow their slice of the pie.
Right. So we see the smart strategies, the media savvy, the strong company results. But let's zoom out again. What about the overall global market size? Just how big is this K-pop phenomenon, financially speaking?
Okay, yeah, zooming out is important. And when you do, the scale is genuinely impressive. It confirms K-pop isn't just a cultural wave, it's a significant economic force on the world stage.
These numbers are probably going to be pretty eye-opening for a lot of people.
I think so. Let's look at the events market specifically because that's a huge part of it. Allied Market Research did a report covering trends from 2022 to 2025.
Events meaning concerts, fan meetings.
Exactly. Concerts, fan meetings, festivals, all the live stuff. This isn't just digital streams, it's people paying for tangible experiences.
And those tickets aren't cheap. Plus merchandise.
Precisely. So the report found the K-pop events market alone was valued at a massive $8.1 billion back in 2021.
8.1 billion just for events.
Just for events.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the peak. It's projected to hit $20 billion by 2031.
20 billion.
Yeah, with a compound annual growth rate, a KGR of 7.3%.
Okay, CAGR. Remind us what that means simply.
Right, so CAGR is basically the average growth rate per year over several years. A steady 7.3% CAGR, like that tells you this isn't some volatile bubble. It indicates steady, predictable, healthy growth year after year, a really strong upward trend.
Wow. Okay, so the live event sector is a massive driver.
Absolutely primary driver of this revenue growth.
Yeah.
It taps right into that experience economy people talk about. Fans want to be there in person.
And is that growth holding up, like looking at even more recent data, post-pandemic recovery and all that?
It absolutely is. If anything, the trajectory looks even stronger. Maximize Market Research put out an analysis in June 2025.
Okay.
They value the market size even higher for 2024, $13.28 billion.
13 billion, up from 8 just a few years earlier.
Right. And their forecast, they see it growing to $23.69 billion by 2032, maintaining a very strong 7.5% CAGR.
So consistent growth, even slightly accelerating.
Exactly. It shows really robust post-pandemic recovery and continued expansion. Live events are back in full swing, and they're reaching more places, bigger venues.
And what's striking is that different researchers, looking at slightly different timeframes, are all seeing the same thing, right? Consistent, optimistic growth.
That's a key takeaway. Across different reputable sources, the outlook is consistently positive and substantial. It points to the industry's resilience, its expanding global footprint, and its ability to just keep adapting and thriving.
So where is this growth hitting hardest? Is it evenly spread, or are there hot spots? You mentioned the breakthrough into Western markets earlier.
Good question. It's definitely not uniform. And yes, North America is a major hotspot. Exponential growth. Right?
Exponential here.
Yeah. Markwide Research did a report specifically on the North America K-pop events market, May 2025. It details this surge.
What's fueling that? Just more fans?
More fans, definitely, but it's more than that. It's driven by skyrocketing demand for live events, sold-out arenas, multiple nights in big cities, new K-pop-focused festivals popping up.
Right, you see those tour announcements selling out instantly.
Exactly. And in response, there's been a real expansion of venue capacities used, better logistics, more investment in the actual infrastructure needed to host these massive tours regularly.
So it's not just occasional visits anymore, it's becoming a fixture.
Becoming much more institutionalized, yeah.
Yeah.
The industry is clearly investing heavily in these overseas markets, seeing the return. It's a tangible sign of just how embedded K-pop is becoming here.
Okay, so the financials are huge, the growth is global, especially here. But beyond the money, K-pop seems to have genuinely changed how global culture gets shared and consumed. And you mentioned digital platforms earlier.
Yeah.
That feels like the absolute core of it.
It's impossible to overstate its importance. You really can't talk about K-pop's global rise without talking about the internet, social media. That's where the magic happens, where fan power truly ignites.
It's more than just a tool, isn't it? It feels like the engine itself.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Digital platforms aren't just distribution channels for K-pop. They are central to its global spread. They're the main way content travels, how communities form, how fans engage on a scale we've never really seen before.
They've fundamentally changed the game.
Completely. How music is discovered, how artists get promoted, how fandom itself is lived and experienced day to day.
So in this totally connected world, what does K-pop's success tell us about how culture spreads now? It feels like they've written the playbook.
They really have provided a masterclass. There's a 2025 academic study, Harmony and Diversity, looking specifically at this. It emphasizes social media's fundamental role, not just helpful fundamental. It's not just broadcasting music out. It's creating this interactive ecosystem. And the study really dives into the unique dynamics of K-pop fan communities.
Right, you mentioned how active they are.
Incredibly organized, passionately dedicated, proactively engaged. Their cultural impact is huge because they don't just listen. They become active participants, promoters, advocates,
They're basically unpaid marketers.
and incredibly effective ones. It's this transformative potential of digital engagement. Fans create content edits, fanfic, art. They share experiences, translate everything, amplify the artist's messages. They organize streaming parties, drive dance challenges viral, run voting campaigns.
Wow. Grassroots power.
Immense grassroots power. Absolutely essential for K-pop's reach and its ability to stay relevant in a crowded media landscape.
That's fascinating. Can we drill down a bit? Which specific platforms have been the most crucial in all this? Seems like a couple really stand out.
Yeah, definitely. An academic journal article from September 2023 looked at the contributions of social media and digital globalization to K-pop. It specifically called out Twitter, now X, and YouTube as critical.
Okay, Twitter and YouTube. Makes sense.
They're more than just places to watch videos or read updates. They're integral to the fan experience. YouTube is the visual home. The high-budget music videos, the polished stage performances, but also the behind-the-scenes vlogs, the variety show clips.
Right, the whole spectrum of content.
Exactly. And Twitter X acts like the central nervous system. Real-time updates, fan coordination, trending hashtags, organizing those mass streaming or voting efforts, feeling directly connected to what idols are doing right now.
Okay.
And the study also points out how K-pop adapted as digital media evolved. They didn't just stick to one thing. They developed sophisticated, platform-specific strategies.
So they understand TikTok needs something different from YouTube or Instagram.
Absolutely. Short, catchy challenges for TikTok, longer, more personal vlogs for YouTube, intimate chats on Weverse or Bubble, aesthetic photo dumps on Instagram. They tailored the approach to maximize reach and interaction on each platform. It creates this pervasive digital presence. You can't escape it.
That makes sense. It's everywhere. And all this digital power building this huge global fan base. It must have had a massive impact back home too, right? In South Korea.
Oh, absolutely. It's easy to focus on the global shows and the international charts, but the impact within South Korea is profound and multi-layered. It's a source of national pride, a major economic driver, and a cultural force internally as well.
It's not just something they export, it's part of the national identity now in a way.
In a very significant way.
Yeah.
And our sources really emphasize this. It's deeply woven into the economy and the national brand.
So beyond the direct money from music and concerts, how does K-pop actually boost the wider South Korean economy? What are those ripple effects?
There's a great academic paper from August 2023, From Cultural Export to Economic Engine, that breaks this down really well. It outlines the direct and indirect contributions.
Okay.
Direct is obvious. Music sales, streams, concerts, merch, billions there. But the indirect impact is huge. Tourism is a big one.
Right. Fans traveling to Korea.
Exactly. Flocking there to visit agency buildings, filming locations, attend concerts, experience the culture firsthand. That supports hotels, restaurants, shops. Then there's consumer goods. K-pop idols are massive endorsers. Cosmetics, fashion, electronics, food. Their association drives sales both domestically and internationally.
K-beauty, K-fashion, a lot of that ties in.
Absolutely. And the industry's reliance on tech and digital platforms also helps stimulate the tech sector in Korea. Plus, the paper looks at government policy.
Yes, the cultural diplomacy aspect.
Right, how strategic government support and initiatives have helped foster this growth, using K-pop as soft power.
Soft power. That's influencing through attraction, not force.
Exactly. K-pop makes South Korean culture seem cool, dynamic, appealing. It builds goodwill internationally. These strategies, from a national perspective, have been incredibly successful in boosting Korea's global image and influence.
It's fascinating. But there must be a tension there, right? How do you become this massive global thing appealing to everyone from LA to Lima, but still stay distinctly Korean? That seems like a tricky balance.
It is incredibly tricky, and it's one of K-pop's most debated aspects. An April 2022 study, K-pop from Local to Global, looked at this idea of cultural nationalism within K-pop.
Okay.
It explores exactly that balance, preserving a distinct identity while achieving mass international appeal. And K-pop has been remarkably successful at it.
Oh.
By blending global sounds and aesthetics, the hooks, the production values, while retaining key cultural markers.
Like singing in Korean.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Still predominantly Korean lyrics in many hit songs. Also, integrating traditional Korean aesthetics into concepts or visuals, and maybe the emphasis on group harmony, rigorous training, certain social etiquette, things rooted in Korean culture that remain part of the package.
So it feels both familiar and different at the same time.
Exactly. Globally accessible, yet distinctly Korean. That's a huge part of its unique appeal. It offers something intriguing to global audiences.
And the artists themselves, they become like unofficial ambassadors,
Right.
projecting this modern, cool image of Korea.
Totally. They're incredibly effective ambassadors.
Yeah.
A March 2022 study, The Phenomenon and Development of K-pop, specifically looked at this.
Mm-hmm.
It found K-pop has significantly boosted Korea's national image globally, made it seem more dynamic, culturally rich, just appealing, enhancing that soft power we talked about.
And does it actually change people's behavior?
Apparently, yes.
Yeah.
The study discussed how K-pop directly influences tourist behavioral intentions. Basically, fans become way more likely to want to visit Korea, try the food, learn the language, buy Korean products.
Wow.
And it also fosters what the study called social network service citizenship behavior.
Okay. What's that in plain English?
It means fans actively promote Korean culture online, beyond just the music, creating travel guides for Seoul, teaching basic Korean phrases, sharing recipes, talking about fashion trends, all inspired by their idols.
So they become digital marketers for the whole country.
Highly effective, passionate, unpaid digital marketers, driving interest far beyond just K-pop itself. It's quite the phenomenon.
It really is, but like any industry that grows this fast, especially under such an intense global spotlight, there have to be challenges, right? Controversies. It can't all be smooth sailing and perfect harmony.
Oh, absolutely not. And that's crucial to understand, too. K-pop is definitely facing its share of growing pains, some very intense debates and controversies bubbling up right now. It's definitely not all perfectly harmonized behind the scenes.
Yeah, you hear whispers, sometimes more than whispers, especially around the business side, the contracts, things getting messy. Like the recent headlines about New Jeans and their agency, that definitely caught global attention. Feels like a potential crack in the system.
It certainly highlights potential vulnerabilities, yes.
Yeah.
And the industry itself is worried. A February 2025 report in Music Business Worldwide had a stark headline. K-pop business could collapse if that kind of dispute sets a precedent.
Collapse. That sounds dramatic.
It does, but it reflects real anxiety. Industry groups in Korea are pushing for government action against what they call tampering, basically, attempts to lure artists away from existing contracts.
Ah, perching artists.
Exactly. They're warning that these high-profile contract disputes could destabilize the whole model, because that model relies heavily on long-term exclusive contracts.
Right. The agencies invest so much upfront in training.
The immense investment, years of training, housing, feeding, styling, everything. They expect to recoup that and profit over the course of that exclusive contract. If artists can easily break those contracts or if disputes become common, it threatens the entire investment structure that produces these idols in the first place.
I see. It shakes the foundation. What are the industry associations saying officially? Do they see this as just, isolated cases or something bigger?
The signs point towards them seeing it as a bigger systemic issue. All Pop reported back in January 2025 that an official from the Korean Music Content Association, the KMCA, expressed serious concerns.
Okay. What kind of concerns?
The official suggested that perhaps some artists involved in these disputes don't fully grasp the complexities of the K-pop business model, the investment, the revenue sharing, the long-term strategy.
Implying the artists may be naive, or maybe just not fully informed.
Perhaps. The concerned voice was that this lack of understanding could have negative consequences, not just for the artists potentially making poor decisions, but also for the young fans who idolize them, and for the overall stability and perception of the industry, which could scare off future investment.
It really brings up that fundamental question, doesn't it? Especially now that K-pop is so global. Who really holds the power? Is it the agency that sunk millions into creating the star? Or is it the star themselves, the one bringing in the global fame and fortune?
That is the core tension, absolutely.
Yeah.
Historically, the power was heavily weighted towards the agency because of that massive upfront investment. They discovered, trained, debuted the talent.
Right.
But as artists achieve massive global success, like BTS, for example, the balance undeniably shifts. The artists gain immense leverage.
So the power dynamic is evolving.
Constantly. And reflecting this, the Korea Herald reported in February 2025 on a joint statement from 5 major music organizations. They literally said, "We must reconsider who the real underdogs in this industry are."
Wow. Questioning who needs protection.
Exactly. Raising alarms about the stability of these crucial artist-agency relationships, acknowledging the strain, it basically kicked off a huge industry-wide debate about power, fairness, transparency.
Hmm.
Is the traditional model sustainable long-term, especially with globally famous artists?
That's a massive internal debate to be having. And then there's the sheer volume of K-pop. So many new groups debuting all the time. Is there a risk of just too much oversaturation? Does it get harder for anyone to actually stand out?
That is a very real concern, and it's being actively discussed. Defector had a commentary piece in August 2025 asking, has the world's biggest K-pop group already come and gone?
Hmm. Implying the peak might be past because of saturation.
Partly that, but also questioning the motivation behind all these debuts. Is it driven by careful artist development or more by a kind of speculative investment strategy? Like, throw enough groups out there, hope one becomes the next BTS or Blackpink.
A quantity over quality approach, potentially.
That's the concern raised, and it leads directly to the challenge of artist distinguishability. If everyone's following similar trends in music, fashion, concepts, how does a new group carve out a unique space and grab attention in such a crowded field?
Yeah, you do sometimes see groups that look or sound quite similar.
And the commentary touched on that too, how the modern K-pop aesthetic keeps evolving so rapidly. Does that constant churn help new artists differentiate, or does it accidentally create more homogeneity, making it even harder to build a lasting identity? It's a tough question.
It really is. And even the biggest stars are immune to drama, especially around things like brand deals, right? Fan loyalty seems so intense that even who endorses what can blow up.
Oh, absolutely. It's a perfect illustration of that deep, almost proprietary fan connection we talked about. Soap Central reported in July 2025 about the controversy when BTS's V became a Coca-Cola ambassador.
Why was that controversial? Coca-Cola is huge.
Because apparently New Jeans had held that role previously. So some fans saw it as a slight or as V taking something from a junior group. It ignited online fan wars.
Wow. Over soda.
It sounds trivial, but highlights the intense politics of corporate partnerships in K-pop. Fans feel deep loyalty. A shift in brand allegiance, especially if it involves perceived rivals, can feel like a personal betrayal to some. Commercial decisions get viewed through this really intense lens of fan identity and group loyalty.
That's a lot of pressure on everyone involved.
Immense pressure. So yeah, navigating these challenges, these debates, that's going to be key for K-pop's future. Which leads us to, what do the experts see coming next? Where's this all headed?
Right. So we've seen the incredible growth, the smart strategies, but also these really significant internal challenges and debates. What's the road ahead look like? What are the predictions for K-pop's trajectory, say, into 2025 and beyond? Can it sustain this momentum?
Well, despite acknowledging all those challenges, the general expert consensus still leans pretty heavily towards continued strategic growth. Maybe not always smooth, maybe needing adjustments, but still growing. They're looking at it from all angles.
Including that geopolitical angle you mentioned, it's still amazing to think of pop music having national security implications.
It sounds surprising, but it's real. That CNAS analysis from June 2022, Domestic and Global Political Impacts of K-pop, really explored this. It's not just about selling albums, it's about soft power, cultural diplomacy. When K-pop artists captivate millions globally, they're also projecting this positive, dynamic image of South Korea, building goodwill, fostering cultural understanding, making the country itself more influential.
So it helps internationally.
Absolutely. The analysis even suggests that it ties into national security considerations, in the sense that strong cultural influence and positive global perception contribute to a nation's overall standing and relationships. Culture isn't separate from politics or economics. It's deeply intertwined, especially on a global scale. K-pop is a prime example.
Okay, that's the big picture. What about specifics for, say, 2025? Any major events or strategies people are watching?
Definitely. Industry forecasts, like one from Nation Thailand in January 2025, pointed to some big things expected this year. Highly anticipated comebacks from the absolute giants BTS, Blackpink.
That alone would shake up the market.
Huge impact. Those comebacks drive enormous activity, global media buzz, reignite fan enthusiasm on a massive scale. But beyond just those specific groups, there's a strong consensus among critics and analysts. Expect continued global market growth overall.
Still confident in growth despite the saturation concerns.
Seems so. It's based on the trends we've seen, the still expanding fan bases in new regions like Latin America or the Middle East, ongoing investments. The pipeline of talent and content remains incredibly robust. They don't see it slowing down overall just yet.
And underpinning all this is still that unique K-pop business model, right? The training system, the revenue streams.
Exactly. And that model itself continues to evolve. A Medium article from May 2025, How K-pop Became a Global Economic Powerhouse, really examined the economics.
Hmm.
That idol training system, it's a massive multi-year investment, a huge cost for agencies.
Yeah, it must be incredibly expensive.
It is. But it's also seen as fundamental to producing that consistent level of highly polished, multi-talented, globally competitive performers. It's a high-risk, high-reward investment that's core to the success.
And they're getting better at monetizing beyond just music sales.
Constantly innovating there, moving far beyond CDs and digital downloads. Think about the elaborate merchandise. Light sticks are just the start. Clothing lines, collectible photo cards, special edition packages.
Right, the merch is huge.
Huge. Plus, exclusive content subscriptions on platforms like Weverse. Those massive high-revenue world tours. And now exploring things like virtual idols, gaming collaborations, NFTs, constantly finding new ways to connect with fans and generate revenue. That business agility is key.
And the big companies, the big four, they're leading this charge with clear plans, not just reacting.
Definitely proactive. A Kebison report from March 2025 outlined the strategic plans for the major agencies heading into this year. It wasn't just about the big comebacks, but also careful market positioning, launching new groups strategically, diversifying their content.
So managing their portfolios carefully.
Exactly. And crucially, the report also highlighted how the industry is adapting its approach to controversy management, learning from past incidents, becoming more sophisticated in handling PR challenges, legal issues, fan concerns.
Building resilience.
Building resilience, yeah. Showing they can learn and adapt to maintain stability and trust in this really fast-moving, high-scrutiny environment. Because sustained success isn't just about having hits. It's about managing the whole complex ecosystem.
Wow. What an incredible, complex picture. We've covered so much ground in this walk and learn. From K-pop starting as more of a regional player just 10 years ago, to becoming this undeniable global cultural and economic giant today. It's clear how smart strategy, mastering digital engagement, and those incredibly passionate fan communities all came together.
Indeed. We've seen the staggering financial numbers, billions in revenue, especially from live events. We've seen the huge boost K-pop gives to South Korea's image and economy, and we've really dug into how technology and that unique fan culture were absolutely critical drivers, not just supporting tools.
Hmm.
But importantly, we also look hard at the challenges. Those intense contract disputes shaking the foundations, the real questions about power dynamics, the worries about market saturation, the tricky politics of brand deals and fan loyalty, these aren't small issues. They demand constant change, smart thinking, and a real willingness to evolve from everyone involved, the companies and the artists. So thinking about all the fierce competition, the high stakes, and those artist agency deals, the pressures of a global, always-on digital fan base, what changes, what innovations do you, listening right now, think are really needed? What will it take for K-pop not just to sustain its global dominance, but also to ensure the artists themselves thrive, personally and professionally, in the decades ahead? A really complex puzzle, no easy answers. And K-pop's future will definitely be shaped by how the industry tackles these very questions.
Definitely something to chew on. Keep those thoughts with you as you finish your walk, your commute, or just go about your day. Thanks so much for joining us on this Walk and Learn. We hope you found it insightful, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.